Hey everyone, it's Pastor Dave from St. John in Woodbury, Minnesota. And thanks for checking out today's 5 Minutes of Hope. It is a beautiful day up here in Woodbury, Minnesota. The sun is shining, the birds are out, nice and warm today. And so I hope that wherever you are, you also have nice weather. And I pray that God's using this beautiful weather to uplift your spirit during these difficult days. I also pray that these videos have been helpful and beneficial to you. Again, the reason that we're doing it is because things are very challenging right now. We're going through some very rough times, very unique times, and we want to make sure that we are reminded that we do have hope. We have hope in the midst of darkness because we have Christ Jesus. And so that's why we're putting these out there. And so, like I said, I hope that they're uplifting to you and encouraging to you during these times. And if you've been watching these videos, you'll know that we've started a little look at the book of Lamentations. And we started that earlier this week. And the reason we're doing that is because it's a very timely book. Now, Lamentations is a very small book. It's only 5 chapters long. And I would probably say it's a very little known book, and probably a very little read book. And I would probably definitely say very few people have studied the book, and I know for sure very few people have heard a sermon on this book. But it's a very unique book, and like I said, a very timely book. This Old Testament book that was written about lamenting, about grieving, about sorrow over the situation that they had found themselves in life. And so the background of the book is this was written sometime during the exile. So there's a bunch of the Old Testament prophets that God had used to speak to Jerusalem, to the southern kingdom of Judah, that if they didn't change their ways, that God was going to discipline them, that he would discipline his people by sending in the Babylonians to judge, to punish the Israelites, to judge and to punish the people of Judah, of Jerusalem. And unfortunately, the people didn't listen. And so in 586 BC, Babylon comes, it destroys Jerusalem, destroys Judah, and takes the people off into exile. And so it was during this time of exile that this book was written. And the authors, the poets, they look at their life now, having been taken away from Jerusalem, away from Judah. They find themselves in exile, and the life that they knew is now taken away, and they lament, they cry, they weep, they mourn. And we're called to do the same thing right now. Again, there's a lot of questions about why is this going on, what's going on. But a big part of our life right now also needs to do what, again, these authors, the poets in Lamentations do, is simply lament and grieve over the pain and the suffering, not only in our lives, but in the world as well. And today I want to read to you half of a verse from chapter 1. So this is Lamentations 1, verse 7a, that says, Jerusalem remembers in the days of her affliction and wandering all the precious things that were hers from days of old. And I laughed when I read through this earlier today, because I feel like I've been doing this lately. The last couple of days, I feel like I've been kind of sucked into looking at old pictures from, even a couple months ago, a year ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, and just thinking about the better times, the happier times, all the activities that we were doing, the good memories that we had. And it's tough because, again, in this context, the people of Jerusalem in exile, they're remembering the glory days when things were amazing and the city was amazing and they were dominant world power, and now they've lost all of that. And so they grieve and they mourn, they lament. And like I said, I think we can relate to that right now, because if you look back at some of the happier times, the pictures, the videos, the memories that we have, and we think, we don't get to do any of that right now. And it can be a challenge. It can be a real struggle. It can be a real pain. But my encouragement to you is that when you find yourself remembering the better days and lamenting the hardship of these days, remember about the glory of the days to come. We do have great memories. God gives us those memories, and we're going to have more memories in this lifetime yet to come. And even right now, in the midst of what's going on, I'm sure you're making some good memories, unique memories with family, with friends, doing things that you hadn't really done before in a different way. But remember, because of Jesus, we know that our best days are to come. And so even as we remember the past, when we think about the past, when we lament the present, the hardships of the present, the pain, the suffering of the world in the present, we also want to remember that we have hope. Like I said, we have hope, we have peace, we have joy, because we know the glory days with Jesus in heaven are still to come, and those are ours because of his love for us. And so again, if you find yourself really lamenting, mourning, grieving as you remember the better days of the past, do so at the same time. Remember the great days that God has promised you in your future with him in paradise forever. So God bless you during this time.